All right, David, welcome to the State of the Bulldogs, man. You are chipping in. It's a lighter crew with just Grant and I, so we appreciate you being on. How are you?
Things are good. Anytime I get the call to come up to the big leagues, I'm ready to go. So had it all ready. Talked to my pal Lynn Easterling, got all the info ready, and good to go.
Lynn.
So, shout out Lynn. So
I love it.
For having me.
We're gonna write that down. Major league business we got going on here. Perfect. Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Providing content when I can. So came from the Stallions watch party earlier today.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they got a dub. They got a dub.
So saw my guy Chad over at BM Sports and
Nice.
Southern Charm Sports, and shared the gospel of Samford while I was there.
There we go.
And saw the text and was happy to jump on. So appreciate y'all having me back.
Are you rocking a little BM Sports apparel right now?
Sports capital of the world.
Love it.
And then you got the more motivated. So we're all about branding around here. So
well, if no one's going to do it, somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, welcome again, David. We got a lot to talk about. We're all wrapped up in the NCAA tournament. It's Sunday night. We got UConn and Purdue about to tip off in a classic tomorrow, a 9 freaking Eastern tip, which I'm not thrilled about. But after all the hoopla of the Kansas game, we took the week off for Easter, and in the last 2 weeks or so, a lot has been going down on campus and elsewhere. But before we really dive in, let's warm up a little bit around the horn. 2 easy questions, one kind of whatever. But first one, Grant, we're going to start with you. How would buckyball fare in women's basketball?
That's a great question. Honestly, I hadn't thought about that before I saw in the show notes you bring it up. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it would work out depending on if you get the right amount of athletes and you've seen the dominance over the years of teams like South Carolina, Iowa, UConn, obviously in the early to mid 2010s. They just have bigger athletes than you. Like South Carolina this afternoon had a 6'7" player in the post, and I believe she had like 18 and 16 or something so like good. That. Yes. So I think if you get enough athletes and find a way to play differently than what we've seen in the women's game and in the men's game too at the men, I think it would fare pretty well.
David, what about you?
No, I agree. I mean, what is it? God is great all the time. Buckyball is good all the time.
Now that is a T-shirt right there, bro.
I know.
I'm writing that down too. Yeah, thanks.
No, I mean, seriously, I think if you had the right players, and it's kind of weird. Sam, you had mentioned it, that we don't really see anything like it, and I don't know why that is, and maybe that's just me not being a basketball person playing it, but
sure.
But I think you got the right players, and it could be a game changer. I mean, we see how much it helps us and what we do for the men's side of it. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, but I think it's something that could work out if you had the right team around it.
It would be fun. And yeah, Grant, like the secret in women's basketball is just having a girl that's taller than everybody else. So if you got to work around that, buckyball seems creative enough of a way. But all right, next question. Favorite Easter candy, David? You're up.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 answers.
All right,
I'm gonna go with the kid answer. Was those sweet tarts? Y'all remember the sweet tart eggs when you were a kid?
Uh-huh. No, I feel like I'm missing out though. That sounds amazing.
The little mini egg sweet tarts. I'd pop those like candy. Of course,
for sure. Yeah.
And then, but now that I'm a grown man, I've matured. It's the Reese's eggs.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
You put them in the fridge.
Ooh, now we're talking. That's a pro move right there. That's a pro move.
So I went from kid to, we've matured. My taste of, fined a little bit. So
it has. It's been elevated.
Yeah.
Grant, what about you?
This probably isn't the mature answer, speaking of David, but the chocolate bunny, basically just a standard chocolate bunny. The hollow one, and you got to debate what part of the bunny you bite out first. It's usually the head, obviously.
Grant,
that's the way it goes for everybody.
That's the most basic answer. It's the chocolate bunny.
Hey, I'm simple. Simple man. Simple works.
Okay, well, Sam, what is your Sam before I
the Starburst jelly beans, easy. Ooh, that's my go-to every year.
If you're about to say Peeps, I was about to.
No.
People that say a little bit worried.
Peeps are like nostalgic. That's the only reason they still exist.
Right.
All right. So, but Grant, to each their own. kind of. All right, the last question before we dive in. So everybody probably saw the big college football report that The Athletic published where they sat down with a couple of university presidents talking about the future of college football. Nestled in that report, other than the fact that they're going to protect like 80 of the major schools, was the idea of relegation and promotion for smaller universities. Now, it did not name the FCS, I don't think, but it kind of alluded to the FCS would be included in that group of 5, like on some model at some level, maybe. If that were to happen, my question, Grant, we'll start with you. How long, if ever, would it take Samford to be promoted?
Wow, that's a great question. Probably 25 years, maybe. Like, it's just a matter of, obviously, once the athletes trickle down and once we figure out this new free agent market that we're in, I think probably 20, 25 years. And with this idea, I do think it'd be kind of sweet, obviously, bringing over the European Champions League model, bringing in college football. That's something that's kind of been pushed out with, especially with this article. So I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah. David?
I kind of agree with Grant. I think if it does happen, it would have to be long term. And I heard Coach Hatcher speak Friday, and he said, he's heard all the things about this, and having to kind of make the decision on some level of whether you want to go up to that, or do some schools go down to D2, right? Or what does that look like at a certain point? So I think there's a lot of proposals and a lot of things that would have to fall in place. And if it went down that route, I agree with Grant. I think it would have to be at least 20, 25 years. And then especially if you got to pony up a couple mil to make the jump or whatever it is. Right. So,
yeah, it would be interesting. It seems like the biggest hurdle would the school be willing to back it financially long enough, right? Like you see, this is an extreme example, but if we are comparing it to English soccer, you see what Rob McIntyre and Ryan Reynolds are doing with Wrexham. Like they're just losing money out the wazoo. I think the net loss right now is like $12 million or $15 million over 3 or 4 years, in a hope that one day they'll make money. And I don't know if the administration would ever kind of get behind that, because even if you had the funding, schools like Alabama or South Alabama, UAB, like public institutions that would benefit from getting that same caliber of athlete that comes out of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, would already be 10 steps ahead of you in some respects. So yeah, I'm with you. Maybe a long time. And I don't hate the idea of D2 if there's enough big brands down there with us in the future, kind of like the new FCS. FCS is great.
Sam, we just need Samford alum Tony Hill to do like some Marvel movies or something, and then pitch in.
We do need that movie star money, as Rob had said about Rex.
Speaking to the Wrexham part,
yes,
have 100%. To plug him in to do a movie every couple of years so we can stay in D1 football.
Dude. That was my favorite part of the Wrexham talk. Like Matt Cohen was like, "I've got TV money. I needed somebody with movie money."
Yep, movie money. All right, spring football. Let's get to it. Grant, David, you're obviously on campus all the time, and you were able to go to a few practices. Or I guess the one practice is their final one, right?
Yeah, I've been to a couple overall, but I spent some time at that last practice with some older former players at a little event we had for lunch, and then checking out practice. So,
well, okay, guys. So I have 2 main questions for you, because obviously, I'm in Atlanta. They don't post really anything from these scrimmages or these practices. How are the lines looking? Hatcher, in a video back in March, end of March, said that the front 7 were looking really good and they needed to work a lot offensively. But when you're playing each other, you never know if that really means the defense was good or if the offense was really just bad. That's why in spring football, everybody's ready to win the conference. And then we show up and like no one's really ready except, Alabama, right? So how are the lines looking? Grant, David, either one of you.
That is why it's hard in spring football kind of to gauge, because the defense is always going to be ahead of the offense, because offense has got to work through a bunch of new guys, especially Samford replacing quarterback Chandler Smith, Michael Weiss tight end, a lot of other guys at the O-line. But I think from what I saw, they look pretty good for the most part. I was really interested by left tackle Left tackle Duncan Johnson was a freshman last year, 6'5", 275.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Big boy.
Having someone with that size on that end. And then one other guy on the defensive side, Deanne, was Jamal Thompson was another guy I saw that flashed as well. So those are kind of two guys that I saw.
If I remember correctly, Thompson flashed a couple times last year. I don't know if he played a lot, but something, I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off base here, but I think I remember hearing his name called a couple times. But David, what did you see?
Yeah, I agree. It's always tough in spring. I mean, especially I know from playing, it's like, I think we were beat up a little bit throughout spring, and you just trying to get through it. The two guys Grant mentioned did pop up. One when I saw it out there, and then also just in some conversations among us internally. But I think it's always tough. Like you said, the defense is always so far ahead. You see them flying around doing some things. But I think we got some good guys coming in. I know there's the freshman from Pell City. I checked out some of his tape. The name escapes me. Grant, do you?
I don't. I'm not bring that up.
Yeah.
I can see.
And then he's listed. He's 6'5", like 280. Listed as he played basketball. Listed as a tight end / lineman. Can get out, screen game, do stuff. So he really stood out to me as far as on paper and some of the stuff. And then defensive. I think we got two guys. I think we'll probably talk about both of those. Woodward stood out to me as far as looking at some of his tape. Looks like a high motor guy, batted some balls down in some of his highlights, stuff like that. So I think it's tough. Like Hatcher always says, we'll see what we got when we come fall, especially with the portal and recruiting. Because gosh, I mean, I know it was tough. We had to recruit all the way to the last minute, it seemed like last year. And it makes that culture and that cohesiveness a little bit tough. But I think they realized some things from last year that they're going to do different this year, just from hearing Coach Hatcher's talk Friday about getting them together earlier and kind of finding the balance of developing them while also getting the culture and the cohesiveness together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Sam, that's what Noah Martin mentioned, right? When we had him over the Christmas break, talking about like what the locker room is like when you got guys coming in first in the spring, and then you got the spring transfer window, then they come in the summer. It's just a matter of working those guys and trying to find a culture and build that kind of cohesiveness together. David, Michael Snow is the guy you're talking about.
Yeah. I was looking at some tape on him, just trying to look at some guys coming in, and he looked like a guy that hopefully could come in and stick around for a couple of years and maybe develop into some. He looked really good on film. So, I mean,
if he's 280, they're sticking him on the line, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and hopefully in our,
I love how kids they always put tight end. It's like, Coach, if you want me to run a route, I got you.
I'd be a sick tight end though.
But hey, he looked like he was agile. He had some wheels on him. So
that's good. That's a great left tackle.
Exactly. But you know how we do the screen game. So I saw some of his highlights had him out leading the charge, and I was like, good. We need some guys that can if we get hurt down the road, or we can
do love the screen.
Yeah. So
it is, in fact, it's an interview that I still hate, but it's one of those like quick, hey, what's your favorite go-to play? They asked all the SoCon coaches, and Hatcher says wide receiver screen, and you're just like face palm. But anyway, yeah. So I wrote down.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, right. I wrote down Woodward so we only added 2 transfers on the D line, which is a little shocking, considering that it did not play to the highest of levels. But it kind of makes sense when you look at how many bodies are coming back. So contributor wise, we got Mathiasen back, which is huge. Nice plug in the middle, but he's a big dude, right? He has to be shuffled in and out. Woodward seems to be that guy. Like, we're going to have a solid 2-man rotation up in the middle. Mekhi Gilbert can probably work his way in there. He seems like a name that's been popping up, at least on Twitter. And then we brought in Nazir Sai. Sorry, for clarification, Mekhi's returning. But Nazir Sai is a transfer that we talked about a few months ago during the brief, like 5 minutes we talked about the signing class. We're going to talk more about it. We want to see how the spring portal shakes itself out, because that opens up in a few weeks, and you just never know who's going to come in and who's going to leave. But Nasir, it's his 3rd or 4th school. He was a 2-star prospect out of high school in Georgia, so like pretty promising especially from an FCS standpoint. but 3 years at Akron and then Northwestern State, which is an FCS.
And didn't they cancel their season? Didn't they have a tragedy?
Yeah, he only played 4 games.
The end of the season, or maybe middle to the end.
Yeah,
he didn't play he didn't have a lot of games.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see what happens there, but usually the guy that's on his third school is not really going to contribute at a starting level, but we'll see. You never know. The O-line, way less guys returning. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 dudes returning on the D-line, most of which didn't see the field, but a few did. And that number's probably going to grow. We're trying to confirm with a little spring roster, but right now that's a rough number. We can just say 7 to 10. O-line, though, way fewer. A lot more to replace. However, there's one area that seems to be where we've recruited well out of high school, other than wide receiver, shout out Brennan Jenkins, is offensive line. So, Grant, you mentioned Duncan Johnson. I also wrote down Tyler Dowdhit. The dude he's listed on the 23 roster as he is tall. He's 6'4", 6'5", but he's not. There's no way that he's 280 or 290, whatever they put on there. We saw him at the Auburn game. We stood next to him. If it's a 280, the dude's pure muscle, because I'm you just don't look that big. But if he puts on some weight, the dude has the length to be a contributor, because other than that, guys, Darian King is probably the best guy we have returning. Zach Bond, consistent starter. But we're also returning Zach Brown, right? He certainly had his ups and downs. And then Brett Johnson, a guy that did not see the field. He was a UAB transfer. So you never know. Obviously, there's upside with him, right? But if he didn't see the field last year on a fairly shaky offensive line, and yeah, Grant, replacing Jabari Brooks, RIP. We love that guy. Hopefully he kills it at Central Florida. Hopefully he makes it to the pros. But the O-line is a giant, giant question mark. Not too much of a bigger question mark, though, than quarterback. So Grant, David, I got my Quincy shirt on right now. We're hearing Mac Howard versus Quincy Crittenden. Any thoughts?
Grant, you want to throw it off?
Yeah, I think it's more. We obviously don't know, because when I went to practice Friday, Mac was off to the side stretching. He was dressed out, but he wasn't participating in any of the drills. So it's always hard to see when you haven't seen a guy play. But from everything we heard, he sounds like he could be the guy. So I think it obviously will be a spring battle. I wouldn't be surprised if Quincy started and maybe Howard came in. They try to play a little bit of both and then try to decide the first couple of games who's going to be the guy.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot either of Mac. I think Quincy's the guy, honestly. I kind of am in the boat with you, Grant. I think he's going to, at least with what he's done, earn the start going into the season, and then kind of do that 2 quarterback, see where we're at type thing. I mean, Quincy can launch it, and we know he can run. So I think it's just trying to refine him a little bit. So we know what he can do. It's a little bit rough. And then I've just heard nothing but good about Mac. I just haven't seen anything really out of him yet. So
yeah, and we start with 2 games on the road, at West Georgia, at Florida. So it would make sense to start a guy in that first game who's obviously got some snaps under his belt, because obviously Howard didn't play any games at Utah because they were stacked in that QB room they had.
Yeah. And we got Scalzo's been around the block. He's been with us a few years. So we got it's so funny. I don't know if you saw, Grant, it looked like there was 6, 7, 8 quarterbacks out there.
There's always there's an army of quarterbacks. It's Coach, we need an army of linemen. We don't need 10 arms.
Well, I got there. I was going through the roster trying to find Max. So I was like, okay, 18. Going through all the green quarterback jerseys, 18. That's not him. That's not him. I went down 6, and then I looked to my left, and he's over there. My number I don't recognize, stretching. It's oh, yeah, that has to be him. But yeah, literally going down the list of 6 to 7 guys. I was like, okay, where is he? Where is he?
Look,
how's he not here? Where is he?
It sounds like fall camp will know a whole lot more, and we'll make a more concerted effort to get down there for fall camp, because we've heard amazing things through the grapevine about Mac Howard and some practices and some 7-on-7s and no pads and all that jazz, right? 3-star recruit out of high school, Power 5 commit at Utah, only played He's a true sophomore, right? So he's young. A lot of promise there. David, as you said, Quincy is rough, but we know exactly what we're going to get with him. We're going to get a competitor, and we're going to get a guy that shows flashes of elite athleticism. But the question mark has always been, can he refine it, right?
Yeah.
Like the same question came in last year. And when he came in for hires a couple of times, he was still a little rusty. But you just never know. Like this year could be the year Quincy breaks out and looks smooth. I mean, the sky is the limit with Quincy, so we'll see there. I'm obviously biased. I'm wearing the Quincy shirt, right?
Yeah. Well,
also but we'll know it fall.
Yeah, and also too, you got to think Quincy. I mean, with Hires got all the snaps, obviously, right? So hopefully, with him getting more snaps in spring, summer workouts, fall, like there's plenty of time to refine and really hone in on his skills. And like you said, he's got flashes of greatness. I mean, some of my best memories are when he came in and got that dub for us, right? And so it's just interesting to see. It's always good to have quarterback battle. Hopefully, everything I've heard, they're pushing each other 1-2, and then some other guys in there that are amongst the army of quarterbacks we got getting some snaps. So hopefully quarterback is not a question mark too long after the first game. So,
but I would say this is a good question mark. We're deciding between two viable candidates, and you're right, David. When he came in against C-Law in the first ever home playoff game, no Joe Blow can just throw for 400 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be good to do that on that kind of stage for the program. So, and Quincy's a dog.
Yeah, and we're dealing with a coach and an offensive staff, but obviously this is their top priority. Something they're known for is developing quarterbacks. So we shouldn't be shocked or surprised by any type of good play we see out there. Obviously, this staff knows how to evaluate quarterbacks and use them.
Yeah. And receivers, and we're not really going to touch on them this episode, but I mean, obviously Jenkins is returning. He's the wide receiver one. It was awesome to see last year Ty King come back for one last go at it and really showed out a few games. But that's another position where I'm just excited to see who we're going to, bring back, how much better everybody's going to get. Because, I mean, Samford punches above its weight when it comes to receivers. The fact that we have dudes in the NFL, dudes in the CFL for a school like Samford is wild. So, that's another, like I said, we're not going to touch on them much here, but that's certainly a position that we'll be keeping our eye on. The only one that's kind of like, all right, we just know the linebacker, like Noah's coming back, right? So linebacker, we're set. We're good. But we'll get more into football as we get closer to the fall. And once we get a spring roster showing who all is there, then we can actually do a deeper dive into how much we can expect out of the guys returning and then speculate more on who's coming in.
Yeah,
but boys,
and who knows who we add in this portal cycle coming up. Obviously, they've done a lot of the last couple of years. They bring in a lot of DBs, a lot of guys. They brought in a lot of guys in this portal window. So they'll have these, I think, 2 weeks to figure that out. So,
yeah, the DBs are the epitome of the crapshoot in the portal. Like, you bring in these guys, and they're all really good athletes. They all have great numbers, and then they hit the field, and they're like, "It's not what I saw, not what I was thinking." But sometimes they hit. So baseball. All right. Baseball has been rocking and rolling. We have put it on the back burner. We didn't talk about Mississippi State, the amazing crowd that showed up there. Congratulations, David, for putting some butts in the seats for what looked to be a raucous environment, even if it was an away game for our Samford Bulldogs in Homewood.
Yeah, it was. But, hey, my job is to get people there. We got people there. Tried as much as we could for the Samford. No, it was a good crowd for both. Obviously, Mississippi State traveled as well. It was a great. When I tell you the environment, I think we announced over 1,400 at that game.
That's awesome.
And man, it was rocking. We were giving out Sam Lot shirts. Killed it in our revenue numbers that game. Everything was good. Obviously, of course, like you said,
until the 10th.
Until.
We had a top 25 team on the ropes.
Yeah,
it's tough.
But
it's tough.
Yeah, I know.
And then similar thing against Bama, right? Like, that would have been an epic comeback against the Alabama. The Crimson Tide fall short 11-10, but guys, SoCon play is really heating up and we're looking good. Granted, Citadel is a bottom feeder. They're terrible. But what do they say, Grant? Good teams win series, great teams sweep. And you got to sweep the bottom feeders if you want to contend for the top. And Citadel, Michael Ross with the complete game set the tone. You know, offense didn't really show up on Friday. They really showed out Saturday and Sunday. But Michael Ross with the complete game. I mean, great. We've been bragging about him all year. You know, he's been the arm in the rotation that's been consistent. That's been really good. He's making my prediction for pitcher of the year. Look really solid right now. So keep going, bro. But any thoughts on the Citadel series? And then, I mean, David, like baseball in general, this is your first time on the pod since, I guess we had you a few months ago, but anything you want to talk about baseball? Pre-game. Let's go.
I mean, I think they're rocking and rolling. There's been some close ones, obviously the 2 SEC games. The Alabama one at home was tough. Mississippi State went at home. I believe we got another SEC game coming up. Is it Kentucky? Yeah. Softball the same day within a couple of hours, so that's going to be full Samford. Yeah. And you know, I love this team. I love our baseball team. Baseball last year was fun. Yep. Baseball this year, they have a great coaching staff. Coach David, Coach Shrout, Coach Gil Walker. All of them are good. A little bit of highs and lows, I feel like, starting off this year. But you know, that's how it usually is for us. I'm just glad that, you know, going into SoCon play, we're playing good. Bats were hot this past weekend, even though, like you said, it is Citadel. But I think we're going to have a good year. I think they're kind of locked in, and they want to, just from talking to the coaching staff and the kids, they want to have a good year, not just for them, but for our fans, because of how much we showed out for them last year at Auburn and doing some things like that too. So
that was, what could have been. Grant, how we feeling?
Feeling real good after Michael Ross, a guy who was injured last year, didn't pitch like 95% of the year, and he came in Friday against Citadel, complete game, 0 runs, 1 hit, 9K, 2 walks, and 115 pitches. I was watching the game, and in the 8th inning, I got a text from Blake, my brother, and he was like, "Do you send him out for the 9th?" I was like, "Why not? I mean,
if you don't,
him out there,
right."
If you don't, it may not be a sweep.
Yeah, sure enough, he got out there, K'd up the first guy. I was like, "Oh, cool, we're fine. This is awesome." So yeah, it's just cool seeing him bounce back and continue to improve, and hopefully he can make your prediction right, Sam.
Oh yeah, well, we have the clip of him striking out to complete the game, so let's pop that real quick. Just, you know, embrace the moment.
Another 1 o'clock game will be on the air with pregame coverage here on radio at 12:45. Stretch by Ross, off speed, swung on, missed, ball game. Pumping the fist is Ross as he.
Ball game. I love it ended on a K. It was a filthy pitch too. And look, we're today's game, we were tied, I think 4-4. It was looking a little tight, but we pulled out the sweep, got the brooms out, and we'll get to softball in a minute, but we got the double sweep on the weekend, which this season, I don't know if we saw that coming. Like I said, we'll get to softball, but they're on a nice little turnaround right now. But the bats, guys, baseball, like the only reason we have a good record is because we have probably, I don't know, first or second best offense in the conference. And it's allowing our pitching to figure themselves out, so to speak.
Yeah, it helps when you got the 2 Garretts up the top. I kind of wish they'd split them up, just be like, okay, Garrett 1 and Garrett, just to help me out. Like,
I'm
my
like,
own,
seriously,
I'm pretty sure.
Garrett Howe's been on this podcast twice, and I'm still like, all right, which Garrett are we talking about?
Get them thing 1 and thing 2 shirts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leading off Garrett Howe, but right after him, Garrett Staten is like, oh, cool. We can't split them up, but no, you can't. We can't leave those 2 at the top of the order. We can't take him out at that, especially Staten. I'm pretty sure he hit a homer today too. Dude. So, and then you have John Anderson coming up behind him. He's been raking too.
Yes.
And then you got J-Rod behind him too. It's like, oh, geez, that 1 through 4. That's not even mentioning Lucas Steele, who's obviously got a lot of potential at the plate as well.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Steele in that Mississippi State game in the bottom of the 9th. I thought he was going to pop it. I was like, this kid's got it. He and the pitcher, they were going at it. That was a battle. But, dude, Grant, the fact that we replaced Jaden Davis, who just popped off against LSU for Vandy in their series this weekend.
Yeah, hit a homer.
Stephen Klein Jr., who's tearing it up at Tampa. I mean, one freshman and then one.
Lost it.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah.
All right, cool. Did y'all hear what I said? True reload.
You stopped at. We heard you, Klein, talk about Klein. Was the last one.
Yeah, no, there you go. So, yeah, just a true reload, replacing those two studs. I mean, you got to give credit to Coach David, right? Like, he not only kept most of the team intact, which is impossible to do, considering the SEC comes calling all the time on our roster, but he got everybody better, too. Like, that's the other thing. Like, we all kept developing, and that's huge. Yeah,
that and his whole staff got poached by his former boss. They all moved over to UAB. They got a couple of guys. So like bouncing back after that too. It's like, okay, well, this is getting serious. So just continuing the success that Casey Dunn had over the last, 15, 17 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah, no. I don't want to give, I mean, we can give Dunn a lot of credit. He made Samford's baseball program. Like, we didn't have a national reputation until he really developed it into what it is. I think Wikipedia gives us credit for 35 or 36 players drafted. I would be curious to see, I would bet 20 out of those 35 were Casey Dunn in post era, but probably, I'm not totally sure. I think, but I'd bet on it.
He's got a first rounder. Yeah. Philip Irvin. Yeah. So
we got Kentucky coming up Tuesday. The ETSU series. So coming into the SoCon conference play, there's a lot of unknown, right? We knew that UNCG had gotten those big non-conference wins. We knew Mercer had played a lot of teams really tough, especially that Oklahoma State series. We knew that Wofford had played nobody and they're destroying everyone. And we knew that ETSU returned a lot of guys and looked dangerous. Well, sure enough, ETSU has found themselves in the top 100 of the RPI. They beat Western Carolina. They lost to UNCG, and they just are coming off a pretty impressive Mercer series win. So this is our first real conference test that'll show us exactly how dominant we could be. I would expect us to win this series 2-1. But if we sweep it, we maybe lose one series the rest of the season, and we'll be the 1 seed lock. Now, I'm saying a sweep if ETSU plays well, not if ETSU plays like dog water and, it's their fault they're not performing. Like, they got to play well and us beat them. And I would like to see a couple close ones heading into the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Prediction feel even better, pulling out wins in those scenarios, but wouldn't shock me if we were winning every game going in the 7th and then get swept. So any thoughts on ETSU? And then if y'all have seen anything else from other SoCon teams to this point?
Especially if we get the same Michael Ross. Obviously, he can't throw a complete game every time, but seeing him set the tone for that Friday start, that's obviously huge going into a weekend when you got a guy that can shove and limit in your team to say 5 to 6 hits and limit in a couple runs.
Dope. David, nothing.
No, I haven't seen too much of the other ones, to be honest.
No, that's fair.
But no, I mean, I agree with you. If we can see how good we really are, hopefully, if we get a good ETSU, see where we're at after that, I feel pretty good about this team. I mean, I think if they figure it out, they can be really, really great. So
for sure.
Especially with the way their bats are hot, and we got some good pitching, so great staff. So I think we got a shot. So
we do, and that was another thing we talked about in the baseball preview. Is like the season basically comes down to how well our bullpen can perform, and at the moment it's kind of a coin flip. Brooks Rice, we expected him to start off better. Took a whole lot longer to transition to this level of play than we probably thought. And that's neither here nor there. But what was great to see was we had noticed that he had not pitched more than 6 innings and had not given up less than 2 runs, only 1 or 2 times coming into a few weeks ago. And then, boom, Citadel hits, 6 inning pitched, 2 earned runs. That's the kind of performance you're going to need out of your second arm if you want to clinch that 1 or 2 seed to get you the double bye in the SoCon tournament, because that's really what just blast your odds through the roof of winning the tournament. So one quick thing to give people perspective that's somewhat surprising is UNCG, Wofford, ETSU, and I want to say maybe Western, maybe not Western, but those first three schools are all in the top 100 of the RPI, which is a little bit surprising considering we're 117. So just based on the RPI, we're like the fifth con school. I think the metrics are a little broken at the moment. I think we need to give it till conference, like literally until conference play is almost over for the RPI to really project for these mid-majors. Because, I mean, you got Wofford playing like the school of the blind and beating them 20-0. And from a metric standpoint, okay, if the floor is 350 schools and that school is 350th, but they won by 20 some odd runs, and their style of play, they can take advantage of lesser opponents because they bunt and steal and do all the annoying crap.
Sam, you sound like an ACC basketball coach that was upset that the Big 12 was manipulating the net by playing all these.
Was he wrong? Was he wrong? The Big 12.
Probably not. But I mean, did you see Morehead State's non-conference are playing the Mississippi University for women and stuff like that? Yeah.
Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah.
Wofford's got a bunch of Bishop Sycamores on that schedule. So you just like the RPIs, what I'm saying is the RPIs are very inflated, but everybody should be aware that we're like the fourth or fifth highest RPI in the conference at the moment, which is frankly shocking because we're about to just ham. Last note on baseball. Jacob Cravey, Samford legend, stud, made his minor league debut in the Orioles organization. 4 innings pitched, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. So shout out to Jacob. What a way to start. What a way to announce that you are here in Major League Baseball. I guess it's what? That was AA, Grant?
I don't think so.
Single.
Bring that up. I needed to.
We'll
find check before we started, but yeah,
we'll find that out. Yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, baseball is looking good. Thankfully, we'll get soft. Like I keep teasing it, we're gonna get softball, but thankfully, softball is showing some signs of life. We have a pulse, David.
We're back. We're back.
Well, yeah, we're getting there. But we're gonna talk about the portal. We're gonna talk about Bucky. Is Bucky going to be calling the pigs here in about 30 minutes on a Sunday?
I've got a big update on that front once we get to it. But
all right, that's good. But first, a little trivia. So this is pseudo multiple choice, considering there's a select amount of options. But the country star Zach Brown is an alum, class of '97, of what school on Samford's football schedule this fall?
Ooh.
Zach Brown. There's only 12 or 11 options.
I got my toes in the water.
It's probably not Citadel or VMI.
Not a worry in the world, a cold Coke in my hand. Life
probably not Florida. Could be.
I think I might know.
All right. David, do you want to guess first?
I'm going to defer. I want to defer.
All right, great. All right. Set the tone. Set the anchor here.
I think it's a 50% chance between Mercer and West Georgia. So I'm going to go with West Georgia.
Okay. David?
I was thinking Georgia. I'm going to go Mercer then. I'll take the
answer. West Georgia.
Oh.
Look,
you're on the board.
You're in the same state, so that's something.
You seem like a Georgia boy, right?
Sam?
No.
And you're outside of Atlanta. What are we doing?
Look, I live in Georgia, but I'm from Tennessee. And Tennessee is it's better in every respect. I just don't live there.
You had left from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee? Or no?
Yeah, you can't. That's actually geographically impossible. We've already covered that. It was the dumbest song. Wagons do not rock, they roll. Cannot from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City. You will end up in you'll end up just in the Midwest. Like you've already passed Johnson City at that point. But anyway, continuing. Samford Portal basketball news. Guys, Big D, Dallas Graziani hit the portal. Young son thinks that he is NBA material. No, I'm just joking. He's headed for more playing time. And I get it. I mean, if you don't want to win games, if you don't want to be part of a fun system, like obviously transfer, I get it. You know.
Sam totally gets it apparently. So
yeah.
All right, what are we looking at here, Grant? This is
maybe we never forget.
Oh, okay. So for everybody listening,
tip off against Zach Edey, you just need to work to get 4 inches every day.
We should have gave him a shirt before. Did he get a shirt before he transferred?
Well, that's a new thing we're doing now. We actually, we pay kids to transfer apparently. So the other
I had the shirt sitting right
victim,
beside me, and I forgot all about that.
the other portal victim is friend of the pod. He's actually there's only Michael Hires, Chandler Smith, AJ Staten, McCray, and and Garrett Howe. Those are the only guys who have been on the podcast more than one time. And freaking AJ had to break the streak. Now, granted, AJ gave us 4 years. Very grateful. He has more than earned his right to try something else. But so far, those are the two big options. Any instant reactions when you all saw the news on either one of them?
Shout out to Barry, who responded to my tweet at Hoops in a Hurry on Twitter. Why did Dallas and AJ go to the transfer portal after building the foundation for another great run next year? Was one of his questions. Shout out to him.
It's a great question, Barry, and it's hard. Big D, he said playing time. That seemed a little like a cop out, considering he played. I don't know. He probably averaged 16, 17 minutes. I mean,
yeah, he was fourth or fifth on the team in minutes. That's obviously with the caveat with Jermaine and AJ being hurt for a little bit, but still.
Yeah,
I think he would move down probably back to Nova Southeastern if I had to guess, because he averaged 30 to 32 minutes down there, leading them to back-to-back D2 titles. So I think that could be in the cards for him. So,
David?
Yeah, I agree. I think when I first saw it, I think he's a great player, and I think he fit great in our system. I don't see him going to another, going up or to another mid-major and getting as much or the same. So I think, if anything, he's going back down. And, maybe you got to think of it, too, I guess, from a younger if that was me, hey, he was the guy where he came from, and then having to fit into a culture where you're coming off and playing, 12 minutes or whatever, but probably a little bit skewed because he played a little bit more because the guy's injured. So that can be tough for a guy. But I mean, hey, he balled out for us. We appreciate everything he did, and I hope him nothing but success. But I think if I had to guess, he's probably going to go somewhere, probably back down a little bit smaller and be the guy again and ball out.
Yeah, and I say this with a caveat. He was kind of like the best offensive player, oddly enough, in the first half against Kansas game. Like, he made a big three, like when Samford was struggling to score. But you're still sacrificing a little bit of offense with him while he's on the floor, and obviously the size is something that we all love to use to our advantage, but you're still sacrificing that too. You kind of got to be kind of in that high 30 to 40% 3-point range. Like, his name escapes me, but Western Carolina's point guard, he was 5'7", 5'8", so another guy, but he was a really good shooter as well. So I think
Russ Jones.
Yeah, Russ Jones, right. So you're sacrificing a little bit of his offense. So I do see Samford be like, okay, if you want to go play more minutes, that's fine. We can find other guys in the portal, because there's a ton of guards in the portal that you can find and go plug and play.
Yeah, no, it's he's certainly going down. He's not going up. And if playing time's what he wanted, but then AJ, where do we think AJ's headed? Is he going to Florida school or go back home to Carolina? I'm excited to see where he lands. Like, I want him to go kind of like Jabari. I want him to go to like a Power 5 school, and then gives us somebody to root for next year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the Florida schools. You got UCF. That's a big jump to the Big 12, though. I know. Shout out our one mention, Quez made that jump.
FAU would be fun.
Quez made it before he got hurt. Yeah, FAU would be good.
Sweet unis too. And you get to
live on the beach.
Yeah, I mean,
live on the beach. Literally. Yeah.
Life could be worse.
They got a new coach down there too. Yeah, those are two good options. FAU, I didn't think about. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think AJ's great. I just don't know. But yeah, maybe FAU. I like the sound of that. It could be worse, right?
It sounds good to me. If I was in the portal, we're going to FAU. Yeah. Sweet, let's do this.
Well, I'd like to announce that right now I'm not in the portal. So Samford, we're good. I could talk to Birmingham Sports, who's my representation right now. So
okay, yeah,
yeah. So we're sticking in Homewood for another year. So
okay,
let's go. Oh, more motivated, baby. Stand put.
We're gonna need you to talk with the head of our collective before you make that decision.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what the GoFundMe's got going, and then yeah. So, but for now, I'm here, so we're good.
There we go. That's all that matters. The details be damned. That's all that matters. Yeah.
Okay, so there was another question, Grant, that we got from Twitter. Adult Cuddy wanted to know about a certain transfer prospect that we're flirting with. Any intel there? Who is it? What school are they coming from?
Grant, before you answer, can we just give props to the name?
Yes.
Adult Cuddy.
Yeah, Adult Cuddy 130751. Shout out to @Adult Cuddy 130751.
I would love to know who that is and why they're obsessed with Kid Cudi.
Day and night. I have no idea.
I'm thinking it's he made the account when he was in high school or middle school and he thought it was really clever, and then just didn't ever change it.
Yeah. Well, at that time, I mean, when he probably threw it out there, Adult Cuddy, everybody's mind blown.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what it was for the first year and a half of seeing him on Twitter. I was like, Adult Cuddy? I was like, Adult Cuddle? Like, what is this? And then it hit me. I was like, oh, Kid Cudi.
Okay. Yeah.
I felt like such a boomer.
So maybe didn't age too well, but hey, at the time in 7th grade or whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
But look, whoever he is, he needs to take zero offense from me not getting it, because all my friends know that any social reference usually just flies right over the head. But Grant, tell us about this guy that he was asking about.
Yeah, asking about Lipscomb transfer guard Darren Boyd, 6'3", 210. The transfer portal report, they're really good on Twitter. If you want to go there, find them on Twitter. The portal report, they've got good info on guys, and they talk to guys. Okay, here's the list of schools that have reached out to us and who are visiting and whatnot. Darren is visiting Samford on April 13th and 14th. As if you saw my tweet earlier in the week, right now up until Thursday is the dead period to where guys can't take against the schools, but coaches can still contact them and talk to them. So so that's why you see a lot of these visits getting scheduled for this weekend, because literally it ends Thursday, and then you'll see Friday, Saturday, all the visits roll in. He's visiting Charleston before coming to Samford. And last year he averaged 17 points per game, almost 4 boards a game, shot 52% from the field and also 44% from 3. So he's got some really good numbers, but this is with the caveat that he did suffer a torn ACL in February. So it's just a matter of, 1, when's he going to be back on the floor, and 2, what's that rehab going like, as he has 1 year of eligibility remaining.
Just stitch him up, coach. Stitch him up, bring them in, David, do you know where they house the recruits when they come in for a visit? Are we talking like Grand Bohemian? Like, what are our digs when the recruits come in?
I do not know. I think a lot of that stays under wraps, right?
Hopefully it's not the Holiday Inn right there on whatever the 280 or whatever the road is right there. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe it's not a Holiday Inn, but
I don't know. I'd be surprised, but I'm sure they take care of them.
Yeah, that'd be kind of sweet. You show up in Charleston, they show you a nice time, but it's like 1,000 degrees and 2,000% humidity, and you're like, oh, this sucks. Then you roll into Birmingham, nice trees, it's cooler, shade. Then you roll into Grand Bow, it's like, all right, this is nice. This is Mountain Brook. Oh, it's right next to Homewood.
Yeah,
might go a long way.
Yeah,
I might need to get Bucky on the phone to get you to come help on the visit the way you're selling us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Show 20-year-old dudes a good time.
Yeah. Just don't ask you who Kid Cudi is, because you're like, I don't know the answer.
Sam trying to make small talk. You ever heard of an adult Cuddy on Twitter?
Yeah. Kid Cootie? Who's Kid Cootie? You have any idea who that is?
All right. We're good to the
two-pack shaker.
We're not that bad.
Good.
I'm close, but I'm not that bad. It's
are we going to talk about Bronny? Is Bronny coming to Samford?
Well, of course.
We're trying to get the move on it. That's why we need to donate to 205 Bulldog Collective, that GoFundMe, to help.
David, a kid that averages 4 points a game in Power 5, you're telling me he's not SoCon material?
That is SoCon all day. That's Samford Buckyball.
I mean, that's what we make our bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
Not
Bronny Ball and Buckyball.
The NBA. Bronny James, R.I.P., brother.
I did get asked another question. Joshua Cornett 4 on Twitter. Do you know of any other official visits scheduled besides Boyd? I do not, but they have put out a couple offers that I've seen guys release on their own socials. You got Panola College guard Jonah Hitton, another 6'3" guy. He averaged 14 a game, shot 40% from 3. He's got 3 years of eligibility remaining. So if you're catching on, here's the theme that you kind of see: Boyd 44% from 3 in his 22 games. Jonah Hitton 40% from 3. Then also another offer from Barton Community College in Kansas City, Leger Jones. He's 6'7", 205. He started at Tarleton State. He averaged 15 and 9. He shot 54% from the field, started all 36 games, and also shot 42% from 3 on 109 attempts. And he's got 2 years left. Tell me more.
What is his name?
His name is Leger Jones, 6'7", 205.
LJ. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, he's got 2 years of eligibility remaining, and he would be a great fit to kind of replace that Jermaine role, kind of like the bruiser, the guy who can score when you need him to, but go get offensive board and play bigger. Might play bigger than he is, and especially him being 6'7", he would be an awesome fit. Again, he has 2 years left, so we'll see what other offers. See if we can get him down for a visit.
And you said he was at Tarleton?
Yeah, he was at Tarleton, then went to Barton, and now he's looking for another school. So,
look, the pearly gates of Samford are going to look real nice compared to Tarleton. So we just got to get his butt on campus. David, who could we contact to get? Are they allowed to release like who's the official visit? Surely, right? Because they got to tell the NCAA.
I think Warren would be the one to contact.
Do they keep that under wraps?
Yeah, unless I think kind of got to like ask the player to like.
Yeah.
Because like, how do these like the Sooner Scoop? They know all the official visits. Are they just grinding on every recruit or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, you DM the player and you're like, hey, you kind of build a relationship with them. Maybe you go out and visit him. Maybe with football, that's what they do. Go out and visit and build relationships, talking to coaches and whatnot. So I think that's kind of where they get the bulk of their information. So that's kind of what these sites do. They reach out. Of course, now with NIL, they have agents too. You got to talk to for some of the other big guys going to the P5 level. So you got to go through them too. So there's like all these different avenues they keep building of guys you got to go talk to. So normally, insane. I think they would basically just DM the player, and that the player would know the credibility of the person asking him, and they would go through, okay, these are the schools that have reached out to me and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess Samford wouldn't want to publish the list just to tip other guys off, like, because there's thousands of basketball players. So maybe we don't even pursue that avenue. Maybe we just help keep it under wraps.
Unless we have Grant sleeping at the Pete, just trying to see who comes walking in and out.
We hack the security footage. Like, all right, he's not on the roster. He looks like a recruit. Who is he? You know? Yeah.
Hey, he looks tall. He's got to be a basketball recruit, right? He's got to be.
Yeah, he's walking with Bucky.
Yeah.
Well, as a almost champion of the intramural B League, I can tell you for a fact we did not have anyone in that league who could be mislabeled as Samford basketball player. So I think your odds of picking them out would be pretty high. But let's talk about Bucky. So, Grant, you have an update. It's Sunday. This is going to air Wednesday. We're assuming Arkansas is going to have a coach, but basketball Twitter is in full meltdown mode as of 2 hours ago. Grant, has it changed?
Well, it's changed dramatically right now. I'll go through the Bucky stuff first and then get to what's been updated right now. Basically, Arkansas reached out to Chris Beard at Ole Miss. He said no. They reached out to Jerome Tang. Maybe they did in Kansas State. He said no, he's staying. And I saw some of the fans on social were clamoring for Bucky to kind of be the guy as they've seen their other top names fall and stay at their schools. So I reached out to a couple of Arkansas people like, hey, what are y'all hearing about certain interests on Arkansas's end? And some of those guys were saying that he was on some list of some people inside the offices of like the basketball offices that just don't know how far it got to the AD, obviously, as a guy who could be a guy to kind of fill in for their spot. So he was of interest to some people. I just don't know.
Hopefully it was the interns list.
Yeah, right. I just don't know if it's gotten to like the AD or if it's just those people reading social media be like, oh yeah, Bucky, he'd be cool. Who is this guy? So I think they would kind of find. So especially in this day and age, everyone's got sources. You don't know who to believe. He said, my guy's telling me this when he's got like an Arkansas picture in his Avi and like adult Cuddy with a name and like 12 different numbers. Like, oh yeah, my guy's telling me that this guy's going to Arkansas and stuff like that. So I don't think there's anything to it from Arkansas side as evident to what's been rolling over the last like 30 minutes as we started recording. Okay,
well, when we started recording, they were supposed to interview Daryl Walker, coach at Arkansas Little Rock, and Chris Jans, at Mississippi State. Has anything changed? What's the update?
Well, social media is ablaze right now because some people at Arkansas with some sort of following are kind of saying that John Calipari, as crazy as it sounds, Calipari might be in the discussions to be the next Arkansas head coach. Again, he doesn't have an agent. You don't know what to believe. This guy, he's a sports director for a local station in Arkansas. He's like, yeah, Coach Cal's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. And people are trying to.
That's not a good update, Grant. David and I were joking before we started recording. Yeah. That is not good.
Yeah.
We were joking. We're like, look, next offseason, Calipari is going to be fired. Nate Oates is going to take the job at Lexington. And all of a sudden, that Bama job is wide open. And guess what's a 5-minute drive from Homewood, Alabama? Tuscaloosa. That's not good, Grant. I thought you were about to say, oh, they hired Chris Jans and we're all good. You know,
no one
wants to go to Star. So
yeah, they were talking with the American gangster Will Wade too. Was another guy, but he's got a show cause penalty where he can't recruit certain. He's limited to the amount of recruits he can get on campus and then official visits, which obviously is his strong. You know what offer he gave to some guys at LSU, but
I don't think that matters, honestly. Like the Oklahoma State coach, I'm blanking on his name. He had a great press conference. We'll play the clip next week if I remember. But he was talking about how much recruiting's changed because he brought Cade Cunningham to Oklahoma State, right? He never won an NCAA tournament, not been to a Final Four, certainly hadn't won a Natty. And he convinced Cade, hadn't even coached a player who made it to the NBA. And he somehow convinced Cade Cunningham, future lottery pick, now I guess player for the Pistons.
He hired his brother. That's how he got.
Well, that's creative. But he says in today's world, it's like nothing. Like you just give a number. So like Will Wade, he doesn't have to go anywhere. He can just shoot text offs to his assistants. Hey, this kid, give him $600,000. Commit $700,000. Commit. So I'd still hire Will Wade. Arkansas would be good with Will Wade.
So this still seems too wild to be true. Like I haven't seen any of the big national guys say anything about it. Of course,
they're not hiring Calipari. This is the same crap.
But it's good. It's going crazy right now over social. Some other people are saying it, but obviously this just sounds like too out there to actually believe it to be real.
Yeah, I'm looking through and like, Grant is not lying. It is crazy, but it's all like random, no follower account hardly.
Yeah,
like somebody just tweeted out 1 minute ago that they're all wanting to offer north of $10 million annually to get Calipari at Arkansas. But if you look, he has like 11 followers. I mean, people are just going wild about it. So
yeah,
it's like when Auburn was looking for their football coach, and they're everybody, right? Oh, is Nick Saban gonna cross the river, come to Auburn?
Deion Sanders.
Oh, is Brent Venables gonna leave Oklahoma to come? Is Steve Sarkisian gonna leave? It's like, brother, they hired Hugh Freeze, a basically Will Wade-esque type candidate who was trying to quote unquote rebuild his reputation at Liberty, which is the most ironic place to do so. So yeah, the Arkansas, now that we talked this out, I feel a little better. Calipari ain't leaving.
Yeah, Sam, we talked about that too. Remember, like someone started like the Dabo Sweeney, like he's going to Oklahoma, he's bringing Venables with him, right? Someone started that. That's what's coming to my mind to reading this. But again, there's enough smoke to where, well, obviously I don't know.
I mean, they're
don't know anything on our end, but it sounds crazy.
Their football team is in shambles. Baseball always underperforms. You know, they hype them up all regular season just to fade come postseason. Basketball's all they got. Musselman took them. Oh, for those who aren't aware, Musselman left Arkansas to go be the head coach at Southern California. Good luck, buddy. LA does not care about college sports. That's a terrible move. Fayetteville is a way better life than Los Angeles, but hey, to each their own.
Sam, I just saw someone tweet Cal's about to come out in Arkansas quarters at WrestleMania right now. That's incredible.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love that. I love it.
Yeah,
All right,
just sounds too well to be true. But again, Bucky's not going to Arkansas. So
yeah.
No.
He's not going to Kentucky either. So
we were about to – no, he's going to Bama. So we were about to move to softball. And I forgot, Grant, I'm going to admit it on the internet that I Beham Sports April Fool's Day tweet.
Oh, yeah,
I got really jazzed up for about 5 seconds that Samford had agreed to play at Legacy Arena. I was already planning my trip. I was like, I am there. Sign me up. And I guess I just don't realize. Maybe I didn't even see it on April 1st. Maybe I saw it on April 2nd because Twitter's algorithm is so jank now. Thank you, Elon. But I fell for it. It is not true, unfortunately. Still not true that two budding basketball programs will not face each other in a budding basketball state.
Makes too much sense.
Yeah. So Chad, behind the scenes here, he texted me at 8 a.m, putting out a graphic that Samford and UAB have agreed to play at Legacy Arena next season would cause quite the April Fool's tizzy, wouldn't it? I said, darn right it should. If I get any messages, I'm sending them your way. Like I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't do anything.
Love it.
So he put that out at 8:25. And then like an hour later, it got so crazy, like just the amount of people that were talking about it on his end. And David, you told us like some people on your end, like, is this really happening? Like, oh my gosh, this really happening. And you need to pull up.
Yeah, it happened in our little Slack. Somebody is like, am I missing something here? And I was like, guys, I think we're good. And, you know, all complaints forward to Chad at Beham Sports.
And that he put out 20 minutes later at 8:51 a.m. It's just April Fool's joke before this gets out of hand. It's like, dude, it's already out of hand. There's no point in going back.
Hey guys, is that y'all know Birmingham better than me? Is there like an old classic basketball arena in Birmingham? Or in Alabama? Because I think it'd be cool, like maybe a summer scrimmage, UAB Samford at like I don't know. If there's not an historical, then that kind of Legacy would be kind of lame for a non-competitive game. But
there's not really. I think like the most historical you can get would be like Birmingham Southern's Arena. Rest in peace to Birmingham.
I've been in
Southern.
that one.
Yeah, but
watch my buddy Jordan ball out for Sewanee. They clobbered Birmingham Southern. That was a great game. He's actually, I think he's maybe Sewanee's all-time leading scorer now. Something like that. He set some record. Shout out to Juice.
So if this did happen, I would like it to be a home and home. I don't.
Yeah.
Legacy would.
It would have to be home and home. Bartow's
Legacy would obviously be fun.
Legacy,
but Bartow's a good time. I've been there had a guy who was a UAB.
Yeah, like
his dad knew some people at UAB and went to some of those games. It's a pretty cool atmosphere.
Yeah, the new atmosphere when people are actually showing up and they're good. It's sweet. It's like Pete Hanna on steroids because it's a public school.
I'm just mad Chad didn't throw out a ticket link. Like the only way to get tickets is to buy Samford season tickets. Did y'all hear about the Chicago Bulls, what they did for their April Fools?
That's teetering on fraud.
Well, no, somebody tweeted out. Somebody tweeted out it was like an autograph company, and it was making its way around saying MJ was coming back, and a bunch of people believed it and purchased tickets to the
Michael
Bulls
Jordan
game.
Jr.
And so they actually reached out to his agent, and they had to like come out and do a whole apology because people want refunds and stuff. It's like, come on, guys.
That's amazing, though. That is amazing. Could you? I would not have gone that far down the rabbit hole, but there would be. You would have seen a little uptick in purchases, David, for sure. Ooh, that would have been spicy. All right. Anything else before we head on and finish off with softball?
But seriously, Andy Kennedy, Mark Ingram, let's figure this out. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I think it's.
Please.
I mean, it benefits everybody. That's my biggest thing. Is like it benefits them. It benefits us. It benefits Birmingham. It benefits basketball in the state of Alabama. Like
we play in most other sports, like football. I get it. We're all trying to get our money games. That one we don't ever have to play each other. Whatever.
Yeah, none of this 2-for-1, 2-for-1, 3-for-1 sets. So legit, like what normal teams do, home and home. That's what they did. Like even Furman came to UAB last year. They played Furman, but they won't play a team literally 6 minutes down the road.
I hate that. I hate that. God, Furman. Oh. Okay. Softball. Let's jump to softball. Teasing it for a little bit. We've been going about an hour, so we're going to kind of run through this and then finish the state of the Bulldogs with some tennis updates. But we finished off about 2 or 3 episodes ago a little down about the softball program. Our record, do not look at our overall record even right now. It is trash. But it was really bad a few weeks ago. But, boys, last day games, we are 6-2. We swept UNCG. UNCG is a good team, all right? They're a good softball team, and we swept them. We beat the ankle biters in a 2-1 series. And this was all coming off. After a sweep against UTC where they just brought – it's UTC. They're defending conference champs. They're good. But 6-2. A lot of that, the bats have woken up. We pointed out, I think, one girl maybe when we looked had an average over 300, 1 or 2. And in softball, that ain't good. This is an offensive sport. Pitchers, if you have anything under a 5 ERA, pretty good. Hitters, you need over a 350 batting average. Well, here to tell you, that number has creeped up. We're like 5 girls now, over 300. We got 2 in conference hitting over 400, so total turnaround. Mac Newcomb is back. She was out all of March. She casually rolls in against one of the top teams in the conference, pitches 5 innings against UNCG, and allows 2 hits. And no runs. Stud, right? So that's going to take a lot of pressure off Jordan Partain, who we had been riding. But the 2 batters that I wrote down, Michaela Cothran and Sarah, help me with the name, guys.
Squillaci, yeah.
Wasn't even close. Squillaci, that's sweet. Both hitting over 500 in conference play. Just a total turnaround. I'm honestly in shock. But you love to see it.
Yeah, you got Michaela leading the way at hitting 350 right now, leading the way of almost a 400 slugging percentage with the 365 on base. So they're suddenly getting their groove together. And you mentioned, Sam, shout out to Mackenzie Newcomb and came back. She and Sarah Bond today combined for 9 innings, 1 earned run, and only 4 hits in their 2-1 extra inning game to seal the sweep for them this weekend.
Yeah, it's huge. David, you're on campus every day. Did they just keep on plugging and they just have survived? I
don't know. It was one of those things where I think they had some high expectations, which all of our teams do, and then struggled a little bit. And to be honest, it was pretty quiet. Didn't hear a whole lot, so I didn't catch too many of their games. And then I don't know. There was some real excitement about getting the pitcher back, and then just how the tides are starting to turn, I feel like. And that's just an outside perspective looking in. But I think they're starting to get it together. I think they're, they know that they can be good and, getting some people back from injury and bats getting hot again at the right time. So hopefully we can say we're back, right? We're back.
That's the thing, right? Like, we're trying to build this program. It hasn't really been anywhere ever. So I still don't think that a conference title is in our realistic goals for this season. You never know when come tournament time, right? But just on paper, we're certainly not there yet. But it was very deflating that first half of the season to be like, man, we didn't even take a step forward. But it's cool to see that the team has resilience, right? Like, that's something you really want to ingrain in your culture, especially as you're building a program. And if we can just keep building on this. Now, we got Bama coming up. Probably not going to beat Bama, right? But we have Furman. Like, that's a realistic series that we should win. I mean, shoot, UNCG swept them. So to keep building on that momentum, if we could we're 6-2 in the last 8 right now. If we come back next Sunday for the episode and we are 8-4 or 9-3, like, that's awesome, right? That's awesome. Because there's only a few more series left before the SoCon tournament. So just good things happening right now for softball. We got to capitalize on the Big Mo. Got to capitalize. But yeah, I just feel so much better. I was a little down. I was like, man, this was a program I wanted to get behind. Basketball, they just faded hard, right? Softball, I felt like that it could be another disappointing season, but we're on the uptick. We're on the uptick.
They didn't want to disappoint you, so they
That's right.
they heard the pain in your voice and was like, let's get this. This one's for Sam. Let's go.
I was legitimately like, we're just gonna slap them to the State of the Bulldogs segment because
Mackenzie was warming up in the bullpen. He's like, oh gosh, I better pitch well because Sam's gonna be on me if I don't.
Right.
They just had the podcast clip playing in the locker room. Bulletin board material.
That sounds like something Danny Hurley would do. Yeah.
I have the great clip of the walk-off win to seal it against UNCG. I totally forgot. Let's play that before we wrap it up with tennis.
This was wild. Yeah, this was wild.
Oh, such a great – I mean, you got to love it. Nothing like a defensive error against a team that we really just don't like in any sport, especially football. Kidding, losers. Here's their clip.
A 1-2 pitch. Ground ball. Maxwell has it. Throw to second. Ends up in right field. Logan Champion's going to get waved home. The throw home. It's not in time. And Samford walks it off and sweeps UNCG this weekend.
Epic. I love that it's the overthrow. It was like a 5-foot throw. Had to just toss it to the girl at second, and we're going inning and just sails. And we come all the way home. They even get a play at the plate almost. Like, they almost got us at the plate. They got the ball in pretty fast. But just a great way to walk off. And we said it earlier, 2 sweeps in the weekend for baseball, softball. It does not get better than that.
Sam, one more thing. Before, when this airs on Wednesday, I will be fresh off like 2 or 3 pimento cheese sandwiches at D because I'll be at the Masters on Tuesday.
Grant, I hate you. You're going to be at the Masters? I am so jealous. I'm more jealous about –
Got lucky. Yeah, got lucky.
All right, so tell us how
you know, they have like the ticket lottery every year. Like, like all of us in the family, all different households, we all filter in. And Blake actually won this past summer. And I found out last Tuesday as an early birthday present that he was like, oh yeah, here's this ticket. He like gave me a card and stuff. And so yeah, him and his wife and my dad, we're all going to go to Augusta on Tuesday.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we got lucky. So
okay, well, great. You know, now we have to do a little special Masters episode. There's got to be some SoCon golf.
That's why I'm wearing my hat.
I know that the guy that won 2 weeks ago, maybe he's from Chattanooga. I think he went to UTC.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to find if there are any SoCon golfers at the Masters. And man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. Well, I don't think he is playing, but Gordon Sargent was another guy. He played at Mountain Brook. He was at Alabama. He's turning pro. So I don't know if he's in the field or not. I can't remember, but it's also a guy with kind of like hand-eye connections that we got going on. So
man, that's going to be amazing. Oh, I'm jealous.
So selfishly, I hope we don't get any portal news on Tuesday because I can't have my phone, obviously, when you're on the ground. So selfishly, for my benefit, can we just wait till Monday and or Wednesday to actually add some guys? So please,
or so fun. I guess,
or a certain player announces that they're coming back to school and maybe not do that on Tuesday as well.
So, Grant, are we allowed to say Blake's name on the podcast now? Like, are we allowed to mention it?
No, we're not.
Oh my gosh, he hasn't. Wow. That's a high bar.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's awesome, Grant.
We hear his voice enough. We don't need to talk about him anymore.
Well, we need to give him his credit.
But yeah,
Samford's broadcasting Samford Sports is a relatively thankless job, so we got to prop him up because he's too good for our league. I hate to say that, but he just is. All right, so let's wrap it up with men's and women's tennis.
Gosh, you can be his agent or what? What the heck?
Yeah, well, That would be, but no. If what we were saying about softball was carried over to tennis, we would have been saying that about women's. The men were the ones hanging on, but it's like the roles have been reversed. Men's tennis, we've lost 3 of the last 4. We're kind of holding on to them in the tennis world as like our hope for the season. But women are on a 4-match win streak. So the guys lost to rival Jacksonville State. You don't really ever want to lose to them in anything. ETSU, and then in-town rival UAB. We did beat Wofford, so they're still in good graces there. We have Mercer up for the last match of the season until the SoCon tournament. I didn't realize the tennis tournament was so early compared to the other sports, but buckle up. And then women's tennis, 4 straight wins. Western Kentucky, Wofford, Western Carolina, and UTC. Total turnaround from their small sample size, right? 4 wins. They still have a lose overall, but yeah, just always good to see. Men got to shape it up, though. Women need to keep it going and men up. I wish Michael were here to give us a little bit more detail, but that's all I got. Guys, anything on tennis, or else we'll wrap it up.
We need to get Samford walk-on legend tennis player John Christ to talk about it.
Yeah, we need to get tennis walk-on legend John Christ and Lynn Easterling to chop it up, talking about the tennis squads.
You'll need an episode just for that.
You know, Lynn watches all those matches. I'm sure any match that's aired, Lynn's watched it. Oh, that's a great graphic. So Grant is showing the double sweep graphic. If you're listening to the podcast, head to Twitter. Samford Sports tweeted it out.
That's really well done. Yeah,
that's sweet. I wish I was that good at Photoshop and all that.
Yeah, no, right.
It'd be a good skill. All right, so David, thank you again for joining. Any last words before we sign off here?
No. If y'all are in town, come check out the games this week. Big SEC matchup. So otherwise, if you need tickets, you know where to come to. So, but other than that, no, I'm just excited. I appreciate every time I get to come on here and chop it up with you guys. A lot of great stuff for Samford in every sport right now. So just appreciate the support and the coverage that y'all are helping get it out to the masses. So
the masses.
Yeah, the masses.
Grant, anything?
I've just got Georgia on my mind, Sam. I don't have anything else for you.
Hey, if you're rolling through Atlanta, Grant, if you hit me up, I'd love to meet the fam. But if not, it's
we'll
fine.
see.
I get it.
No.
I know how the roads work, so I know that you're coming through the town. So,
yeah,
come for dinner or something. But all right, guys. State of the Bulldogs is out. As David said, catch Bama or Kentucky this week on campus. And be sure to get out and watch some softball and baseball this weekend. We got some, I think the ETSU series is at home. We can confirm that. But otherwise, State of the Bulldogs is out. We will catch y'all next week.
He's not leaving.
Hey, you already know. Samford about to get that ring, man. Hey, love y'all. We love y'all.